So, welcome to today's deep dive. I want you to picture a small crab that walks around literally holding live anemones like weapons. It's called Libya cystifera.
Which is such a great name, named after those leather boxing gloves ancient Roman fighters wore.
Right, exactly. Or how about Arachnanthus lilith? It's this tiny tube anemone named after a night demon from Mesopotamian folklore. So today we're exploring the totally chaotic Wild West of how marine life actually gets these bizarre Latin labels. We're decoding the hidden rules.
Because, most people think there's some serious central committee of sensible scientists approving these, but there isn't.
No, not at all. Okay, let's unpack this. Because the naming system is basically the biological equivalent of like staking a mining claim or grabbing a .com web domain in the 90s.
Oh, absolutely. It's totally first come, first served.
Yeah.
You just stake your claim by documenting it in a publication, and it's yours by date.
Which sounds like a recipe for disaster. So to keep that free-for-all from descending into total chaos, we have Carl Linnaeus establishing a standard system back in 1758.
Right, because before him, identifying a species meant you had to write a whole descriptive Latin paragraph.
Just imagine every single researcher trimming a sentence about like a sea urchin with long hollow spines slightly differently.
It was a nightmare. So Linnaeus condensed all of that into just two italicized words. You've got the genus, which groups close relatives and is always capitalized, and then the species epithet, which is lowercase.
And that two-word system creates this neat filing cabinet. The species epithet only really means something inside its specific genus. But I did notice a weird formatting quirk when looking at the sources.
Oh, the address thing.
Yeah, the address. Like the name usually lists the author who named the animal and the year. But for something like the lionfish, Taro Miles, the author, I think it's Bennett, 1828, is written in brackets. Why the brackets?
Right. So the brackets mean the animal moved house.
Moved house.
Yeah. Bennett originally put the lionfish under a completely different scorpionfish genus. But later, researchers were like, actually, this doesn't belong here. And they moved it to the lionfish genus, Pterioi.
Oh, okay. So the genus shifts, but that original species epithet, Miles, just comes along for the ride.
Exactly. The brackets are basically a historical paper trail showing that a move happened. And it gets weirder because genus words have grammatical gender in Latin.
Wait, really?
Yeah, so when a fish gets moved to a new genus, the ending of its species name might just magically change to match. So an adjective like dimidiata turns into dimidiatus just to satisfy Latin grammar rules in its new home.
But isn't that incredibly fragile? Like, if the spelling changes based on grammar and the genus changes every time our understanding of genetics evolves, I mean, wouldn't a marine biologist from 1950 and one today not even know they're talking about the same fish?
They probably wouldn't if the word itself was the ultimate truth. But the International Code of Zoological Nomenclature demands a physical anchor.
Right, the type specimen.
Yes. To make a name legally valid, it has to be tied to a type specimen.
Which is literally a single physical animal sitting in a museum jar with a catalog number. So the name isn't attached to the abstract idea of a lionfish.
No, it's legally bolted to that specific dead fish in that specific jar.
It's a rigid no takebacks rule. But wait, what about mistakes? Like, say an explorer from the 1800s caught a green shrimp, stuck it in alcohol, and by the time it got to London, the fluid had turned it bright red.
Oh, this happens all the time.
Right, so they name it based on that red color. Even when modern divers prove it's actually green in the wild, does it get to keep the wrong name?
It does. Priority wins all tiebreakers. Because the rule of priority says the oldest publication wins, and the name is attached to that red shrimp in the jar, not the green ones in the ocean.
That seems so absurd to keep a factually incorrect name forever.
Well, without that rigid anchor, scientists would just endlessly argue over who has the better description. The whole filing system would collapse. The name isn't meant to be a perfect description. It's a historical timestamp of human discovery.
That totally changes how you look at those unpronounceable museum plaques, you know. Every bracket, every weird suffix, it's a living record of who found it.
Built one staked claim at a time?
It really is literal footnotes of taxonomic history. But that actually leaves you with the slightly unsettling thought.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because since this entire rigid naming system relies absolutely on being anchored to one physical original specimen in a museum jar, what happens if a museum fire destroys the jar?
That is a terrifying thought for a taxonomist.
Right. If the physical anchor just goes up in smoke and all we have left is the idea, does the name survive? Something for you to mull over next time you're reading those complicated Latin labels at the aquarium.